Give me a couple seconds for that to show up. Good morning and welcome to another episode of 1 Million Cups. I am Donnell Johns. I'm your host this morning. Do me a favor. If you have the app, it kind of looks like this. Go in there and click the check-in button. For those of you that are on iOS devices, you may need to delete your app, re-download it from the App Store, and check in again. If you don't want to do that, it's okay. But if you would do that, that gives us credit for you being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you for coming to 1 Million Cups. And let me hit the record button. So Chris will have some great information to share with himself later on. All right, next slide. So 1 Million Cups is a mastermind group for entrepreneurs. We meet here every Wednesday, same channel, same time, different day. Our mission is to educate entrepreneurs throughout the United States. Next slide. We have key pillars. Our key pillars are presentations, not pitches, authentic connections, not networking, and we run for the community. We'll run for the community and by the community. So this is not only our organizers, but you are a part of the presentation today. If you didn't know it and this is your first time, now you know. Our culture is safe and supportive. 1 Million Cups is co-owned by everybody that shows up here. We believe in radical, international, inclusive, I can't even say the word. Y'all can read it. 1 Million Cups is all volunteer led and is fueled by our presenter pipeline. So if you haven't had an opportunity to present, please put in your application. Also, make sure that you know that we are on Facebook Live, so the information that you're putting out there is being recorded. Before you start speaking today, make sure that you introduce yourself with your name and your company name. Next slide. So there's several ways that you can be a part of our community. One is by showing up to this meeting every week. Also, 2 is by providing great feedback. 3 is engaging with the members of our community online. Not only can you meet here, but if you guys share your information in the chat, in fact, please put your information in the chat, your name, your business name, your phone number, if you're so inclined. I highly encourage you guys to connect with each other. And then we send out a weekly newsletter or information about our presenter that's coming up. One thing that we do ask is that you share this information throughout your community. There's a ton of business owners that need this type of information. Plus, it's very refreshing to come to an organization where everybody is here to support each other. Also, follow us on 1millioncups.com / facebook.com/1MC Fairfax. These are our organizers. It's led by myself, Jen Dalton, Tony Barnett, Myosha Mendez, John Yu, Melinda Sigel, John Rutenberg, Renetta Jones. I'm gonna save Marnie for last, and then we have Russ McIntosh. We have a new organizer, and we're happy to have Marnie as a part of our team. Thank you so much for volunteering. Today is her first day as an organizer. We're gonna put her to work as soon as possible. I hope she came to work, but no, she just came to support. Thank you so much, Marnie, for being a part of our 1 Million Cups organizing team. You have been such a value since day one as a presenter, as well as a member that shows up on a weekly basis. So thank you so much for being a part of our team. And Mr. Russ McIntosh, he has stepped down, but he has been a valuable member of our organization for about, I think it's going on 2 years now. Russ has been a part of our team for a while and has contributed greatly to our organizing team. So thank you so much, Russ, for being a part of our team. Let's give Russ a round of applause, a virtual one. Next slide. We couldn't do this without our sponsors. Even though we're not in a physical location right now, we still, highly rely on our space sponsor, which is Office Evolution. Sylvia, is Sylvia here? If so,
yeah, I'm here.
Please give us some words of wisdom on Office Evolution.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sylvia Ferguson, and I'm with Office Evolution. So here at Office Evolution in Tyson's Corner, we have beautiful and affordable office space, private offices, conference rooms, shared workspace, and virtual services. So even though with COVID, we're open, we're functioning, and everything is good to go. Yeah, so if you want to know more or if you need a quiet place, just reach out to me. I will put my information in the chat. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, and thank you so much, Office Evolution. You know what, I'm gonna do that on purpose when I'm in person. I'm gonna talk while on mute. I'm just gonna be moving my lips while standing in front of a person. Next up, we have Ms. Phyllis Simon of Simon Law, PLLC.
Thanks, Donnell. Good morning, and thanks 1MillionCups Fairfax for hosting such a dynamic and engaged group that helps small businesses overcome obstacles and thrive. I am thrilled to be April's coffee sponsor. My name is Phyllis Simon, and I am an intellectual property attorney. The mission of my practice is to help small businesses understand trademarks, copyrights, and patents. When people think of intellectual property, they often think about protecting their own IP. The flip side of that is making sure that what you are doing is not inadvertently infringing on the trademarks, copyrights, or patents of others. I work with small businesses to develop strategies and best practices to protect their own intellectual property and reduce the risk of being sued by others. Today, I'll be dropping little nuggets of information on trademarks, copyrights, and patents into the chat, and I hope you find them useful.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. We definitely appreciate you being here on a weekly basis, and we also appreciate you being a coffee sponsor. All right, so this is a virtual meeting. Please do me a favor. If you're not already on mute, please mute your microphone. If you have a question or you want to provide feedback, please do the wave icon and then also type your information in the chat. We prefer if you speak, we'll call you out and let you know when it's time to speak, but put your information in the chat so the individual that is presenting today can use that information later, as well as review this information as you guys talk about it. But this is more of a dialogue between us and the presenter today. The moderator will say your name and then you'll be able to speak. So today's presenter is Mr. Chris T. Of SkySquad. Chris, the floor is yours, and thank you so much for being a presenter today.
Thank you for having me, everyone. Yeah, I'm Chris Tomseth. We can go to the next slide, I think. That'll be at the end, so let's go one more in. There we go. So yeah, Chris Tomseth, I'm a co-founder and chief marketing officer of SkySquad, and I'm excited to get everyone's feedback today. So if we can go to the next slide. So this is an airport, and you know, a lot of people don't like going to airports, and they find it to be a stressful experience. That was true before COVID, and it's true now, even more so, right? Because people worry about kind of the distancing and the exposure to others. But you know, airports are a place with a lot of stress, and that's particularly true if you have young children or you know, you're a senior traveling with a pet, but really just anyone. Next slide, please. So the solution is SkySquad, and what we provide is a personal assistant that helps you get from car door to plane door, as well as vice versa. So if it's a departure service, for example, we'll meet you as your car pulls up, help you with your bags, strollers, car seats, etc., escort you into the building, get you checked in, take you through security, and we're with you all the way until the gate. It's your personal assistant, so they can get you a cup of coffee, get you some food. If you need to use the restroom and don't want to take your bags in with you, they can stay behind with your bags or other members of your traveling party, things like that. Next slide, please. It's a big market for airport assistants, about $5.5 billion in the US. And there's kind of an even bigger market for all airport commerce, which is kind of a later phase for us. The next slide, please. There is some competition. People often ask, well, what about the sky caps, the porters, or the wheelchair operators? And the answer to that is, those are really a different thing. So like the porters out front, they'll help you with your bags, but that's just to get you to the check-in. The wheelchair people will push your wheelchair from kind of A to B, but neither one of those people intends to be with you for the whole journey to the plane, and neither one of them is your personal assistant. So it's just there to do a task, not to help you with anything that you need. There's also higher end concierge services that are personal assistants. These things typically are hundreds of dollars per person, sometimes thousands for the really VIP services. That's not what we are. We're a service that's aimed squarely kind of at the average family traveler. Next slide, please. So the way it works is right now we have a website. You can book online. The fees are typically $49 to $100, depending on what you need. An arrival is $49. A departure is $99. There are extra charges for things like if you have a whole lot of bags, or if you want us to meet you at the rental car return or drop off, something like that. But you're matched to a personal assistant, and that assistant will be in touch with you on the day of departure around where to meet, and then they'll get you. Next slide, please. So right now we are only in 3 airports, 2 in the Washington, D.C. area, National and Dulles, and then Cincinnati. People ask, why Cincinnati? And the answer is because applying to operate in these airports is a bureaucratic process. And essentially Cincinnati made it a lot easier for us than New York JFK did. So that's why Cincinnati became our 3rd airport. But you can see there on the right side that we are in active discussions with several other airports, including BWI. We're actually in the contracting phase with them. So we are hoping to be, by the end of this year, in at least 7 airports, primarily along the East Coast. We do have 34 current SkySquad staff across the 3 airports, and we are continuing to raise money. About a week ago, we closed on an investment round from an institutional investor, so we're feeling very good about that. Next slide, please. So as far as, and this is where I can use your help today. So as far as what we've done to kind of generate awareness and get customers to book, we've tried different things, and kind of in a nutshell, the biggest challenge we're having is that people aren't aware that a service like this exists. And so, when people use it, they're like, oh, this is great, but they didn't, a lot of people don't even know. So we need a way to kind of raise awareness. We've tried several things. So things that didn't work, Google AdWords and paid search, Facebook ads. We've tried some sales. Price doesn't really seem to be a big driver of demand. People who need help are willing to pay $49 or $99 for the help. So things that did work in the beginning, especially word of mouth. There's some private like Facebook groups out there where people were talking about us, and that's generated a lot of customers. A physical airport presence is kind of what we're really trying to focus on now that we have money. And we've started that in Cincinnati, having our employees physically present at the airport. We're talking about getting space at National, Dulles, and BWI so that we can kind of have a branded presence there, and then people will see us. Emailed newsletters helps. Airline partnerships will help greatly, but those are slow to develop. And then there's a bunch of stuff along the bottom, things that we are either currently trying or about to try. And these are things that, well, like the jury's still out. So like travel agent marketing, cruise lines, partnering with local car and limousine services, text campaigns, school and sports teams, sponsorships, stuff like that. So the next slide and the last slide, if we can go to that, is, and this is the challenge question and where I could use your help, is how do we increase awareness of our services to target customers? So that is where I could really use some help today. So thank you very much.
Great job, Chris. This is Melinda, and I am going to facilitate the conversation. Myosha, I saw that you had a comment. Do you want to share it with everybody right now?
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm sure you might have already done that, but have you partnered with travel agents or travel websites like Expedia, Kayak?
Yeah, like I mean, so that'll be a later phase. I mean, you know, right now, since we're just in, you know, the Washington area and Cincinnati, to get kind of the bigger partnerships, like Expedia won't talk to us because, you know, it's like, you know, we're very small at this point in time, but down the road, that will be absolutely a source of business.
Phyllis, I saw that you had a really good comment too. Would you like to share? Are you there, Phyllis? We can come back to you.
Okay. So are you talking to me? Sorry.
Yes.
One thing I was thinking is aging customers. So, you know, sending grandma across the country to visit grandkids or something like that. Maybe targeting more senior groups like AARP or other seniors.
Absolutely, yeah. So the senior group is our secondary focus. I mean, primarily people with young kids, but close behind that is the seniors. And we do have a lot of people sending their parents, for example, asking for help with SkySquad.
Looking to see, just so everybody knows, when it's your time to speak, unmute and then mute again afterwards. And keep your questions short so that more of us can actually have questions. Tom, I see your hand, so go ahead.
Perfect, thank you. Chris, this is an awesome service. Before real estate, I used to travel 80% of the time, and I actually changed my flights to avoid moms and kids and all that stuff. I wish you'd have been there 15 years ago. Awesome service, keep it up, keep growing it. It's needed very much, thank you.
We hear that a lot, Tom. It's like, where were you 15 years ago?
Exactly.
Jen, do you have any questions that you would like to share?
Sure. I had talked to Chris about, you know, how is he getting visibility to moms groups? And one of the groups I mentioned was Dulles Moms. But I didn't know if there were other groups you had looked at, you know, within this market where you're finding that to be effective.
So
PTOs,
groups like
PTOs.
Dulles Moms are phenomenal. So, you know, if anybody, you know, on this call knows of groups like that, I mean, please drop them into the chat, say them, whatever. I mean, you know, we need to be aware of those.
Tony, you had
kind of a running list. We have like a running list of a couple dozen, but I mean, you know, a couple dozen is nothing. I mean, there's literally probably hundreds of these. We're actually hiring someone at the end of this month whose job is going to be exclusively kind of getting in touch with the affinity groups.
Tony, I saw that you had a question and a couple of comments. You're muted.
Not anymore. Chris, so one of the things and one of the areas when we were talking earlier before the session started was where a lot of the flights and where people are starting to travel again. And that's in business travel. And one of the areas where that's going to grow the most is in the convention services. Have you reached out to companies like Cvent or some of the other big associations in the area in DC, marketing your services to their attendees? Because a lot of times those people have portable trade show booths, lots of luggage, things like that, where your services would be a benefit. And since for them it's a business write-off, then they're more likely to be using your services to help them all the way through the process.
Tony, that's a good idea, because to date we hadn't really focused at all on business travelers, because that's not our market, but we hadn't thought of that particular angle. So thank you. Because
one of the things is that like CVent, but a lot of the other non-for-profit and other trade organizations in DC, they have open phone numbers and open contact numbers. So it's, there's not as many barriers or gatekeepers in those areas. And that may be an advantage for you to sit there and market to them directly, cold calling or whatever, because you're offering a service that they probably have never heard of and would be a unique identifier for them to sit there and queue in and hear your whole presentation.
That's a great idea, Tony. There are also all the convention and visitor bureaus publish the trade shows that they have. Yep. And you can get hold of those lists a year in advance usually. So that may be something else that you can look into and seeing what are the biggest shows. Obviously with McCormick and in New York, it's not Javits anymore, and that was what was drilled into my head for years. But there are a lot of areas where you can get the lists of all the trade shows that are coming into their areas. And I'm looking to see anybody, you guys can raise your hands because I can see
there's a bunch of stuff in the chat. I'm not sure they necessarily want to speak, but
okay.
Some good ideas that I see being dropped in there.
Yep.
We have Marnie with her hands up, John Foster with his
and
hands
Jen,
up.
thank you. Great. Why don't I start with Marnie, and then I'll go to Jen, and then I'll go to Renetta.
Good morning, great job. It was interesting hearing about this, definitely a well-needed service. What my recommendation would be, and I don't know if you have this, is a referral program. People like to get something when they give. So it also allows you to get into other, like my neighborhood Facebook group is super active, but you have to be in my neighborhood to get, to be included in it. So if I had an incentive to post for about your company, then that would be something that would be well used. And I would think same for the travel agents, that they would want to receive something in order to refer. So that's something I would consider.
Please make sure your contact details are in the chat. So we do have something like that. Thanks.
Okay, Jen, and then Renetta.
Have you talked to any companies about having it as an employee benefit, especially companies who say they're like the top 20 companies to work at if you have a family, etc.?
We've talked about that in concept. We haven't done it directly. But like I've talked to somebody, we're not in Houston right now, but I was talking to someone in the oil industry, and in Houston, they said, when these families like relocate and stuff, because right now, probably not our biggest source of business, but one of our most common types of customers is families from the US State Department who are moving overseas to new posts, and they have literally, sometimes 10, 15 bags and 2 kids and 2 car seats and a stroller and a dog.
Okay, Renetta.
Good morning, Chris. Great presentation. I did list in the chat about whether or not you had reached out to Mocha Moms. That is a large group. And also Rosie Network, which is a group for military spouses. So that would be a great connection for you also. And then piggybacking off of Tony's suggestion about CVent, not just CVent, but there is Smart Meetings and also North Star meeting groups. So you want to connect with the independent event planners and travel directors, because they will be the ones that are actually organizing a lot of these services. So I'll put my contact information in and some other people that you can contact directly with CVent as well.
Thank you.
I know John Foster wants to speak, and then I've got a couple of ideas I want to share.
Yeah,
Sorry, John.
Most everything I was going to share is taken, but I was going to ask just about the military and what you were doing as far as focusing on the military. And then the one comment I have made, I actually experienced your service back in 1996 in Atlanta. I got to the airport late, and I had a guy actually take me in a wheelchair from the check-in desk all the way to the gate in Atlanta. So I appreciate appreciate the service now that it's kind of being formalized.
I mean, these services actually are very common overseas, particularly in Asia, Latin America, but not in the US, because, you know, in the US, we're Americans, we're supposed to do everything ourselves, which is well and good until you have 6 bags and only 2 hands.
Yep.
A couple of things that I wanted to share was travel agents and also corporate travel agents, because as they are booking these things for their customers, they know their customers really well. And there still are a lot of travel agents out there. You can reach them through associations, and associations also have a lot of meetings so that you may be able to get folks that are going to these meetings, that are setting up these meetings, that have a whole bunch of things to schlep. I also wrote down with the travel agents, cruise lines, because people, when they travel for a cruise, they need that kind of support. And I wrote down airline magazines. I don't know how many of them are. I don't know if they're doing them anymore, but I assume they are, because you're kind of captive in your seat. And if there's something to read, you might read it. And that would be a great place. Or maybe finding some of the airlines as partners and looking into partnerships with organizations that have a lot of travelers, including those in the travel industry, but also the big corporate clients like a Microsoft or an Apple or a lot of the other companies, Amazon.
Thank you.
I'm looking, John Ruttenberg.
So it's Rutenberg, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know that, but we have some new people who never heard me before. So one, Chris, bravo, man. Very excited for you and wonderful presentation. So a little bit you're regional, and I was listening where you said you haven't gone for strategic partnerships because you're right now in only several airports, but you're on your way. So, but in the region, PTAs, and I don't know, is there a national association of PTAs?
Yes.
Okay, getting to them at the elementary school level, because once the kids are teenagers, they can carry the damn bags. Although it seems to me I'm still carrying bags for the kids. But
yeah, no, our primary group for, you know, people with kids under, call it under 12.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wrote down, it's not quite that you can track births, but certainly getting the young families. And so through an association of PTAs, region by region, the other end is ARP. And I would think you would have an immediate audience in ARP. And someday when I'm older and I'm subject to things like ARP, I'll be aware of that. But I see the advertisements for so many different things relevant to the ARP audience that I think that's just a potential channel. So congratulations, really congratulations. Very exciting to see this.
Thank you, John.
Next, I have Karen, then I have Dan, then I have Rosemary, and then I have Tony.
Hi, great presentation. What an amazing service. I just have a couple of comments. A couple of things that you may want to consider. I know that you're focused on families with small kids, but what about the unaccompanied minors? We're about to come up on summer vacation, and a lot of those kids that shuffle from one household to the next. The airlines, you know, they slap a placard on you and they shuffle a kid to the gate. But beyond that, there's not much service that's being offered. What if the kid needs to get something to eat or wants to make a couple of stops? So that's just a thought. And like John, your idea about the PTAs, I have that on my list. And then the other thing is, and I know it's a much older age group, but what about college freshmen? that are traveling away for the first time and are really not that familiar with, airline travel, may have a bunch of bags and stuff and require assistance. Along with the unaccompanied minors, looking at like divorce courts, just putting your information out there, and then summer camps. A lot of kids are getting ready to travel for summer camp.
Great ideas, thank you.
So that, and then you may want to reach out to Visit Fairfax because they work with a lot of the meeting planners and a great connection for you. My question, and final comment, where is your business located? Is it in Fairfax County? Is it in?
So, I mean, right now it's home office. So our CEO and founder is in Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay.
But, effectively the airports are where our people are.
Got it.
But we don't have, we will be taking a, like an office evolution type of space. It's going to be in Maryland though, not in Virginia.
All righty. Well, congratulations nonetheless, and best wishes and good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dan, and then we have Rosemary and Tony.
Hey, Chris, good to see you, and thank you for the presentation. It's a great idea. And so two things. I deal with a lot of 55 plus communities, or a couple at least, and I mean, they're full of people that are way beyond 55 or 50. And so, and I have some advertising contacts in their newsletter, and so I'll be glad to share those with you. And the other thing is, Melinda reminded me of something with travel agents. I mean, there's still a lot of travel agents, and there are travel agents that specialize in, say, I'm thinking of one that I know that specializes in Disney cruises. Well, chances are the bulk of their clients probably have kids, and anybody that's been in the airport has seen the family struggling with the stroller and the bags, and the kids have their backpack and they're tagging behind. So I would be glad to share that contact as well. But I think travel agents that specialize in things like Disney cruises and dealing with family vacations are probably very target rich.
Yes, thank you.
Rosemary, it's your turn.
Thanks. Hey, Chris, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
It's a wonderful presentation. I'm so happy to see where the business has grown to. So I had a quick question for you, and then I had a little bit of recommendation for you. You said that Google ads and paid ads didn't really work for you. Were you targeting them to specific words? Were you geofencing them? Like, were you guys really focusing in on the local area?
Yes, we were, and focusing in on people with families and kids too. So I think without taking a ton of time, the two reasons it didn't work, one will change over time. So that first reason is just, I mean, while travel has been down during the pandemic, it is down disproportionately in our target audiences of people traveling with young kids and the elderly. But the second reason, which kind of relates back to the challenge question, is people don't know to search for this, right? It's not something people are searching for. If we open a new tire shop and people need new tires for their car, they Google it and you can serve ads and you kind of know this audience. But very, very few people are, searching for, help. I need help at the airport. So we need to do a little bit of education.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. The reason I asked was more along the lines of if you were targeting the keywords you were using.
Yes, no, it was highly targeted, and we used a specialized firm for it. We are about to start it again with another firm, trying kind of some different ideas. So we'll see.
Yeah, the recommendations I have for you separately. I got on the mailing list, I'm not exactly sure how, of the two of the airports that you're in, which is National and Dulles, right? They have the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority sends out a regular email. You might want to work with your contacts there to find out how you guys get included in that email. That may be a freebie for you guys, or it may be a paid entree, but I'm sure they have a huge distribution, and it's people who travel. So you've already got people who are traveling. The other thing is someone recommended, I think it was in the chat, to look into advertising with the companies like Expedia, et cetera, I know they won't open up their marketplace to you, but that might be where you buy some paid ads, especially if you can geofence and kind of do that. The other thing is you might want to look more in the Cincinnati MSA to see if you can use that sort of as your test market and see what works really well there, because the cost is going to be much lower than here in the metro area. So good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got a couple of questions. One was, as Rosemary was talking, I was thinking about Facebook, and you could have some Facebook promotions of tell us your story, and you could have families or travelers win, let's say, half a trip. So maybe going to the location or coming back from the location, or come up with some kinds of awards like that. I also wrote down gift certificates. I don't know if you're selling gift certificates, but boy, it's a nice present to give a family or your parents or somebody that's traveling. And then I also wrote down local and national news. I mean, they're looking for stories right now, and to showcase what's going on, and you can use here locally Reagan or National Airport, and have the local media follow some of your folks that are working with some people. That might be a really good publicity that you can get that then you can put on your website. Dan, Absolutely. Did you have another question? I couldn't tell. No, okay. Phyllis and then Ken.
Hi, so one other thought I had is some people find Dulles, the airport, to be really confusing because it's a different layout than many other airports. My mother-in-law has traveled all over the world, and she hates flying into Dulles. And so maybe that could be part of your marketing, is people who are coming into Dulles for the first time, helping them navigate, the tram and sometimes that extra bus, just even to get to the baggage claim. That could be useful. Oh, the other thing I thought is, if any seniors are like my parents or grandparents, they will not admit that they need help. So maybe market towards the kids of seniors who might be more willing to pay out $50 or $100 to make sure that their parents get to where they need to be.
Yeah, that actually is who's typically buying the service for the seniors. It's the people like me.
Ken and then Tony. You're muted, Ken.
Let me fix that. Melinda, you jumped ahead of me in line. Chris, it sounds like many of the things you're looking at are in the area of advertising. And Melinda was talking about something more like public relations. How do you get organizations that need content to pick you up as an entrepreneurial venture, to pick you up as a service, and do your publicity for you through their vehicles for free?
Mm-hmm.
Newspaper.
Yep.
So that's a different orientation, PR rather than advertising and marketing. So I just
We've been pretty successful at the PR. I mean, like we were on Good Morning America, and we've been on several like local news and in publications. One of the challenges is when we're on national like TV or radio, we're not national. So we get all these calls for like, oh, help me out in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, etc.
Yeah,
but
yes, because you're local, it would need to be locally focused communities you're trying to get to. But it sounds like you've had success in that area.
Yeah.
So I'll be aggressive and jump.
Wait a minute. Tony's next, and then you, John.
So much for your aggressiveness, John.
Well, Melinda's more aggressive. She wins every time. I bow to her.
Far be it from me to interrupt Mr. Rutenberg. Chris, two-part question here. Right now, how does someone book your services?
The answer is online, or they call us, but we'll be developing an app as well. So,
all right, because that was one of the questions I really had, was if that is in development, because one of the things I've noticed from my travels in the past and now moving forward is the company that I'm getting the car from to get from the airport to the hotel, the airline. Everything has apps right now, and it's easier to sit there and coordinate everything through that and using an app. And if you have the app, is it then possible to reach out to the airlines and find out, and find out if they can, or if you can in some way partner with the airlines to link to your app through their app?
Yeah, so that is the idea, but that is a very long series of discussions, which we've begun, and it's months in already. But airlines like United and American and Delta, I mean, that's easily a year-long process. Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. Nothing worthwhile ever happens quickly. But it's just that one of the thoughts, aside from the kayak app, which Rosemary also, reiterated, is the fact that when I'm sitting there looking at the airline app, the airline apps are always popping up stuff for me to do or something to look at and stuff like that. I'm like, that's where I need it. If I'm on a flight and I realize that getting to the airport from Jersey or from, say, Boston was such a pain in the butt, when I get to DC, here's an app where someone can help me when I land in DC, meet me at the gate. All right, that's cool. And it's only $50. Yeah, let me do that. And it expedites things. Plus, once they have the app, they're more likely to use the services over and over again.
I've got John, and then I've got Danelle with the last question.
I'm just so happy that I can remember my questions. So, Chris, I'm sensitive to your regional profile at the moment. Understand where you're going. And so your question was how to really increase awareness so that people think of you. And it seems to me the online family travel outlets and channels are the areas where you need to be. I don't really know what they are necessarily.
We know some of them, but not all of them, which is why I was encouraging.
Right. Plus I want to, again, I can't spend your money, but boy, if you gave away 250 gift certificates at $100 a pop, which is a chunk of money, marketing money, I wonder what the yield would be. And someone beyond this meeting has to think that through. But in terms of word of mouth of spreading this thing, it would have to be targeted again. But to me, as you've described, your two targets are young families with car seats and 10 bags and the panda bear, and seniors, the elderly. And so given your regional in nature now, finding those channels that are in those regions and pound them, and do some things like give away at $50 a pop, 500 free giveaways.
Yeah, no, we do do stuff like that because that is actually very good use of marketing spend. So,
well, I have this friend who used to be in direct mail. And it's kind of similar, right? I know that, right? And it's a matter of hitting that market, and until you're able to be in 30 airports where American and Delta will have a lot of interest in you, I think being able to reach the regions is very important. And groups, whatever these family channel outlets, probably allow you to do that online.
Thank you, John.
I think we're up to the last question, Danelle.
This is my favorite part. First of all, Chris, thank you for sharing your business with all of our members.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, I wish I would have came up with the idea. This is an amazing idea that you came up with, and a much needed service. I just took a trip last week, and I saw all of these people struggling through the airport, and their information is just flying past me, and I'm like, dang, this is a great opportunity. But your challenge question was a good one. And so my question to you is, what can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
So I think you've done it, right? Giving this feedback. But the other thing that I would just throw out there is, anybody who thinks this service is useful to you or someone you can book it today. Please do. I mean, it's refundable up until 24 hours before departure. So if you've got a trip coming up, place your booking, or someone, give it as a gift, whatever.
Make sure you put your information in the chat so the people here can contact you. Let's give Chris a round of applause.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you presenting today. Next week, we have Miss Renetta Jones, our own, presenting next week. We're looking forward to providing feedback to Extraordinary Solutions. Next slide. Actually, before this, we actually have an update from Monifa Keynes of Queen of Spades Style, who presented I think it's been almost a year now since Monifa presented, and a lot of great things happened in her business. So Monifa, if you're there, please give us an update.
Sure. Hello again, everyone. This is Monifa Keynes, and I'm the founder and CEO of Queen of Spades Style. Some of you heard some of my updates, but since I presented last year, I had to take a step back from my business and take a look at what I'm doing, because everything has changed. The canvas of getting customers and going around to different venues and showing them what I was doing changed because of COVID. So what I did was take a few classes and redevelop my strategy in how I would reach out to my customers, which of course basically was a lot of social media and doing a lot of cold calling to different groups, even senior homes, women's groups, running groups, you name it. I was hosting a lot of Zoom parties for my company that has a lot of head wraps, vibrant headbands, and matching bags and matching belts, and trying to show people how to apply them, having those conversations about hair, talking about the history of the head wrap, just really going further than other companies that sell head wraps. I have been recently doing pop-ups with Veterans Grow America, and I am just really getting myself out there that I was tapped on the shoulder to participate in the workshop at Macy's, which is a great platform to learn from Macy's, on which they want to teach emerging entrepreneurs how to possibly get into department stores. So I'm just gearing up for that opportunity and looking forward to that. But when I first presented last year, I got so much good feedback and information. I took that with me as I was rebuilding my brand. So I just wanted to thank everyone.
Outstanding, outstanding. That, resilience is a beautiful thing, and one of those things of never giving up. And so congratulations, Monifa, on all of your success. I've been a witness to it. I had a front row seat to everything that's been going on with you, and I'm extremely proud of your business and everything that you've done. It has been amazing. So thank you for your update. Next week, we have Renetta Jones with Extraordinary Solutions. As you guys see, we have the 21st open and the 28th of April open. If you have a business, I know that there is no business out there that doesn't have any type of challenge that they don't need help with. We don't have any billion-dollar businesses on the line, and even billion-dollar businesses need help because they're trying to get to the next billion. So if you haven't already, go to the number 1MillionCups Fairfax and apply to present. And we're looking forward to having you guys present. I also want to talk about, we have a new community partner, which is the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. They have become a partner with us, and we're excited to have them as a part of the team now. It is one of the things that we're trying to do is build a community of organizations and entrepreneurs that help out businesses. And so we're happy to have the community partnership with Central Fairfax Chamber. One of our other community partners is on the line, which is Fairfax County EDA. They have been with us since the beginning. So I want to thank Fairfax County EDA. Ms. Karen Small is here. Karen, if you want to say a couple of things about what's going on with your community, if you're still here.
I am. Good morning, everyone. Donnell, thank you for the opportunity. For those of you that are currently visiting or that frequently attend, you all know that 1 Million Cups has made a tremendous difference in the lives of entrepreneurs and business owners that appear on the stage. And I encourage you to continue to support, to share information about this organization, and actively recruit fellow business owners. It is a great way to just solicit feedback and to get information, guidance, feedback on growing your business. The group that's assembled and that comes together weekly to execute the programs are second to none. Their dedication is a testament to the success of the Fairfax County chapter of 1 Million Cups. And so it is just, I'm glad to be affiliated with the organization and to support you. If there is anything that the Economic Development Authority can do, please let us know. But kudos to you all. Congratulations on your success, and thank you.
No, thank you, Karen, and thank you. This is one of the things that I tell my son is thoughts become things. And this was a thought at one time. And we're going on our 4th year now as a 1 Million Cups Fairfax organization. And we couldn't have done that without Fairfax EDA believing in us, because it was an idea that we brought, and the Fairfax Economic Development Authority jumped on it like it was their idea and helped us out. So thank you so much, so much.
I'd also like to make a comment to Karen's remark about recruiting. We are always here. We're always looking for presenters, as Donnell said. And even if you're not ready or interested or qualified to present, you know other businesses. You deal with other customers and other people on a daily basis. Share the information where you don't have to necessarily recruit them. Just tell them about 1 Million Cups so they can see it themselves and then make their own decision to present. Because the more word of mouth that gets out about this, the better it is. We don't have big marketing budgets to go out and advertise to everybody, but our survival depends on the support and word of mouth that you all give. And if you can just, you see a new business, you see them working along, tell them about 1 Million Cups and see if they have the time to join us on a Wednesday morning. And then it goes from there.
Speaking of that huge marketing budget, we get nothing. So your word of mouth is a part of our marketing budget. So please share that information. We're looking for presenters for April and May, and we'll be happy to support small business or even businesses that's been in business for a while. I'm pretty sure that we can support at any level. We've done it. Next slide. I'm not going to go through the calendar, but I'm going to give you guys a second to look at the calendar to see what we have coming up. These are the list of events. I like this view. This is pretty. Who did this? This is great. This is what's wonderful about our team is we make sure that everything that we have looks presentable.
Now, take a wild guess. Who do you think did this? Just take a wild guess.
You know, Tony, I was going to jump in, but I clearly wasn't, you know, I was leaving it alone.
It's Jennifer. Jennifer did a dynamite job.
That's got Jen Dalton written all over it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is
It's a much better view.
So
great. Now we just add one more thing for her to do each week.
No, and real quick, how much time do we have left? So we have 5 minutes. My favorite part that we used to do when we were in person was to go around to see who's in the room. We have 5 minutes, and so the one thing that I don't need you to do is to give me your birthday speech. The only thing that I need you to do is give me your name, your business, and that's it. And so I'm gonna, I know the screen is gonna change around, so I'm just gonna say names as they pop up. If I miss you, let me know at the end. My intent is not to miss you unless you're Ken Portnoy. Okay. Kurt. We can't hear a word you're saying, Kurt.
Taking longer for them to unmute than it
everybody. I'm Kurt Schneid. I'm the executive video producer at Brand Ready Media. I make videos for businesses. It's really great to be here. It's my first time. And Chris, great presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kurt. Phyllis.
Hi, all. My name's Phyllis Simon. I'm an intellectual property attorney, and I help small businesses understand trademarks, patents, and copyrights.
Marnie.
Good morning, everyone. I own a network marketing company that focuses in health and wellness products with Arbonne.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the team. Dan Linder.
Good morning, Dan Linder, Golden Rule Home Watch Concierge. We take care of vacant and unoccupied homes in Northern Virginia. Thank you.
Next up is the 1 Million Cups Realtor, the only one that shows up, Mr. Tom Shipe.
Well, thank you for that, Donnell. I do show up every week. Isn't that amazing? So I'm Tom Shipe. I'm along with Foster Real Estate Agent and Associate Broker. I help people buy and sell homes at all stages in their life, but I really specialize in the senior marketplace. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. John Foster.
Good morning, John Foster, Ambassador for Green Fair Health and Wellness. It's all about the food.
Is that food behind you?
Yes, sir. It's fruits and veggies.
Rosemarie.
Good morning, everyone. Rosemary Savino with Gravitate. We power awesome business professional groups like the 1 Million Cups Organizing Committee through an easy to use, affordable, and private, secure online communication and file sharing platform. Ta-da!
Gravitate makes it easier for the 1 Million Cups community to communicate, and that's a fact. John.
John Rutenberg, or is that what you called on?
John Rutenberg, yes, sir.
Hey, I'm John Rutenberg, CCC Solutions. We help our clients manage their clients, their prospects, and their sales funnel with less follow-up fatigue. FUF gets in the way of closing sales. When you're frustrated, you can yell it out 3 times in a row. It will release endorphins. Fuff, John Rutenberg, cccSolutions.com. I don't know what everyone's Tomseth, what's so funny about that? It's true.
Ken Portnoy.
Ken Portnoy, private citizen, in the middle of starting new things. You'll hear about that when I've got the right thing to share.
Thank you, Ken. Mayosha Mendez.
Hello, Mayosha Mendez, the founder of the Tea Center, Charlie Care Center in McLean.
You sound so excited about that. Steve Heisenman.
Hi, good morning. Steve Heinsman. I'm in the process of starting up a financial coaching nonprofit called Red Sky Money. And we're going to focus on those entering the workforce, particularly like college graduates.
Awesome. Lisa Sukhu. All right, Lisa's taking a nap. Oscar Cisneros.
Good morning, Oscar Cisneros, Northwest Federal Credit Union Branch Manager.
Welcome. Lisa, if you're there, I'm giving you another opportunity. All right.
Steve, is this your first time?
It's my second time.
Second time. Good. Welcome. It's good for you to be here. Keep coming.
All right. I will. It's a great group.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming. If you guys want to stick around for another 30 seconds,
Kurt, good seeing you, man.
This is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for being here. We are powered by 1 Million Cups.
Donald, may I say we have Deanna on Facebook Live if she wants to introduce herself.
How do we do that?